Good morning, everyone. This is Stephen Menduk, your Associate School Director of Instruction. We are, in this morning's coffee talk, going to talk about the Byers absence policy for this school year. It's going to be really exciting, so I need you to buckle in. It's going to be great. So here we go. For this session, you will need your computer, which you are on currently, so killing it so far. And second, you will need somewhere to take notes, either virtually or on paper. Let's go ahead and take just a second and make sure you have both of those things ready to go. Okay. Next, today we're going to be tackling No More Kakua. And for those of you that are new, that is our traditional sub agency that we have used. We are going to use Kakua for some extended leaves, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But who are the subs? We are the subs. So this is going to be exciting. How do you call out? And we're going to talk a little bit about Nora Human Resources Knower Atkinson. First up, traditionally at Byers, we've used this subservice Kakua. A lot of you are familiar with it. They've covered daily needs, sometimes long-term needs. Sometimes it was really good, sometimes it wasn't so good. It was hit and miss. For last second emergency coverage situations, we used internal coverage. During eSchool, we did not use Kakua, and instead we just did internal coverage, and I think the quality of that coverage was significantly higher because you all, our teachers, our staff, are just significantly more locked into the culture at Byers, and in my mind, some of the best teachers in the world. This year, for 2021, money is tight. We all know this. There were tons of messages about this in the spring. Kakua also raised their prices for the upcoming year. So because of some of these factors, we're going to just use internal coverage for the daily ebb and flow of absences that without a doubt will happen throughout this school year. The internal coverage rate is going to be the same. It's going to be $25 an hour. So if you cover one class period, which is just about that hour long, you'd get roughly $25 for that class period. And then stipends are paid out at the end of each trimester, meaning that if I cover 10 hours in the course of one trimester, at the end of that trimester, I would receive roughly $250 for that stipend. So we are going to be using our house teams to cover some of these absences, and we're going to support each other through this process. So in other words, if a 10th grade teacher is out, then a mix of 10th grade teachers will work to cover that teacher's classes for the day. And we're also going to have coaches and deans and other members of our Byers leadership team, or BLT, ready to jump in to make sure that all of our classes are covered and that all of our students have high quality instruction every single day that they are in remote learning. So here's what the process looks like. For planned absences, you're going to, step one, email your coach, dean, and that would be your grade level dean, and house team, asking the team to help cover your absence. In that email, if you could just copy and paste your schedule, that would be awesome. If you wanted to just type it out, just let people know, hey, here's the day or a couple of days that I'll be out. Here's the times for each of my class sessions. Step two, the coach will then take over from there, and the coach will set up the subschedule for the day based on responses from the house team. From there, if you do step up and you are going to serve some internal coverage for the day, the coach will take your name down and make sure that you get input into the sub tracker to make sure that you get that stipend pay at the end of that trimester. The third step for the person that is requesting the time off will be to submit your time off request in Workday. Coach will go in and approve that. And the last step for a planned absence, if I'm going to be out, I need to make sure that I send all plans and all of my team's class links to each teacher covering for the day, my coach, and also my grade level dean. So there are 4 steps there to ensure that we get those classes covered. The sub who is stepping up knows exactly what is expected out of that class, and is able to access the Teams link, and the last piece, that sub is getting compensated at the end of that try. For emergency or last minute absences, so usually we'll say, less than 24 hours notice, the process is pretty similar. We're just going to add in a text or a call just to make sure that we are able to get this filled. So again, step one, you're going to email your coach, dean, and house team. You're going to ask to help cover that absence. You're going to send over your emergency plans in that same email. So that piece is slightly different than a planned absence. The second step is you're going to text and call or call. So I think probably the easiest way is a group text to your coach, your grade level dean, and your grade level house lead. If you are the house lead, then it would just be your coach and your dean. The coach from there will take it up and organize the subschedule for the day based on responses from your house team. The coach will probably have to do a little bit of hustling here just to get this schedule put together, but they will be all over it. They'll input your sub tracker, or they'll input the subs info into the sub tracker for stipend pay, and the coach will distribute the materials to whoever is going to teach that class for the day. The last step, when you have time, right, if it's an emergency, I don't need you to be stopping in the middle of dealing with an emergency and logging on to Workday. But when you have time or when you come back, just go ahead and hop into Workday and submit that absence retroactively. All right, time for some CFUs. Go ahead and read these three. And in your notes, wherever you have been taking notes, go ahead and write down or think about maybe what your answer would be for each of these questions. Number one, when will we use Kakua for subcoverage? Number two, who should be included on an email for subcoverage? Number three, when should you text/call your coach, dean, and house lead? It'll take about 5 more seconds. All right, moment of truth. So number one, when will we use Kakua for subcoverage? Really only for extended leaves. So maternity and paternity leave, extended sick leave, things that you're going to be out for a significant amount of time is when we would possibly resort to using Kakua. Question number two was asking who should be included on an email for subcoverage. That's your coach, your dean, and your house team. Remember, that's for a planned absence or an emergency absence. You still need to include those three on the email that is sent. And then number three, when should you text or call your coach, dean, and house lead? That is only for emergency or last-minute absences. Great. The last piece of information here, Nora Atkinson is our wonderful human resources rep. Her email is listed here. Nora is going to be a really great person to chat with if you have questions about extended leaves, COVID-related leaves and COVID rights, time off counts, how much time you have off left, and other things like that you can access a lot of this in Workday, but if you prefer to have a conversation about it, Nora is going to be the person that is going to be able to answer these questions for you. The last thing I want to leave you with, just because we can't really go anywhere doesn't mean that you don't deserve days off. So we may not be able to go on this amazing vacation or hang out with a big group of people, but you need to take those days off if you need to do so. So take a mental health day, take an organizing life day. I know for me, if I get to clean my house, it makes me feel really good. Take a spend time with your dog day. You could take time off to write me a really cool letter. I would love that. And ultimately just take care of you. So thank you so much. And if you have questions about the absence policy in general, you could reach out to me directly, or you could reach out to your coach, and your coach will be able to give you all of this information, and this slide deck will exist on our Google Classroom for TLI. Have a fantastic day.